Government House Leader and Liberal MP Karina Gould gave her marching orders to the Canadian state-backed media in a press release yesterday, while making inflammatory accusations of Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre.
What I heard yesterday from Mr. Poilievre was so over the top, so irresponsible, so immature, and something that only a fraudster would do.
As her party absolutely tanks in the polls and now becomes an actual fringe minority government, again after NDP leader Jagmeet Singh ripped up the coalition government deal that was in place for nearly a year, the Liberals are squirming, and House Leader Karina Gould's media stunt yesterday proves it. The Burlington MP issued a press release yesterday with ad hominem attacks, calling the leader of the opposition a fraudster and a bully after he poked fun at Trudeau, who apparently forced his MPs to listen to the Rocky Balboa theme song. Listen to this.
I want to start by reassuring all of you. I'm not going to force you to listen to the Rocky Balboa theme song today, as Justin Trudeau did in his caucus. Apparently, part of his strategy to survive the latest uprisings against his leadership was to force his caucus members to nod in agreement that he, in effect, is Rocky Balboa. Of course, in every time Justin Trudeau sees a movie, he thinks of himself as the star performer, right? The lights are on him, and most of all, he is the victim of all of these unfair shots, and he is battered and bloody. This is from a man who inherited a multi-million-dollar trust fund from his grandfather, a famous name and political career from his father, who jets around the country and spends more than he emits more greenhouse gases than 14,000 average Canadian families combined. But yet he is somehow the underdog and the victim.
Now, Gould struck back before giving her marching orders to the state-backed media.
What I heard yesterday from Mr. Poilievre was so over the top, so irresponsible, so immature, and something that only a fraudster would do. When he is focused on having an election on the carbon price, what he's trying to do is distract Canadians from his real agenda. When he talks about the fact that, he cares about how Canadians are feeling in difficult economic times, what plan does he put forward? When it comes to making sure that Canadians have access to good quality information in a time of incredible disinformation, what does he propose to do? Defund the CBC. And all of you as journalists have experienced firsthand how he treats people who try to ask him tough questions, who try to have him face the scrutiny of what he puts forward. And how does he react? As a bully, as someone who will not stand to scrutiny, who will not respond respectfully, not just to you as journalists, but on the questions you're asking on behalf of Canadians, because your job is to get that information to Canadians. And there's a reason why he doesn't want Canadians to know what his true agenda is. And it's because he knows that they won't like it if they find out. And so what we are here today as Liberals in this House going to do, and what we're going to be doing moving forward, is to make sure that we stand up every single day for Canadians, that we push back on his bullying tactics, that we push back on his irresponsible and immature antics in this place.
Funny enough, as soon as Gould got into the House of Commons, she couldn't stand the heat and called for less name-calling after calling Poilievre a bunch of names.
Mr. Speaker, that kind of language from the member opposite is totally inappropriate, and quite frankly, Canadians deserve better. But it's what we've come to expect from the Conservative leader and his caucus.
While Gould was making these baseless claims, shocking new testimony revealed not just 1, 2, or even 3, but a staggering 24 ethics violations linked to the Liberals' Green Slush Fund head, Annette Versurchin.
So she didn't breach it twice, as your report said. She breached it multiple times based on that. Can you tell me how many times she breached it?
In total, there were 24 instances.
24 times as chair, she breached the Conflict of Interest Act.
Yes.
And speaking of fraudsters, a sitting Liberal MP was running a PPE company while voting for pandemic-related restrictions and measures that bolstered that same industry.
Randy Boissonneau was running a PPE company, allegedly, or it could be another Randy, who even knows, autocorrect Randy, with his end state evolutionary human, Steven Anderson, And he was voting on pandemic PPE or pandemic lockdowns while running a PPE import company. And then they have the gall to accuse Pierre Poilievre of sounding like a fraudster. You know what sounds like fraud? The Ponzi scheme of the carbon tax she spent a few minutes trying to defend there. The carbon tax that says, first of all, if you give us money, we'll make the weather gooder. And then somehow magically, we'll cycle your money through the hands of 1,000 bureaucrats who don't work for free and then give you back more. That sounds like a Ponzi scheme, right? Like there are people in jail for saying those sort of things in the private sector. And then did you notice the appeal to the journalists? Pierre Poilievre is so mean to you, you guys. Yeah. But us liberals, we're nice to you. We give you money, wink, 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 wink. And Poilievre, he's so disrespectful. Well, it is true, but they're not even hiding the reason they give the journalists money anymore. They're saying, we're nice to you. We take your questions, mainstream media, and he is not nice to you. And you cannot allow that mean man to be liked by the public. So do what we pay you to do. That's the unspoken thing here. Do what we pay you to do, and we'll continue to pay you.
Aside from the billions in government subsidies and bailouts given to the mainstream media, these latest fiascos unfolding in committee hearings, commissions, and investigations are just more nails in the coffin of the Liberal track record of squandering billions on dubious deals while evading any form of accountability. Take, for instance, the $60 million and climbing Arrive scam scandal, or the recent $2.14 billion Telesat satellite deal, which Elon Musk claims he could have delivered for under half of the amount. This pattern of fiscal irresponsibility, coupled with a seemingly endless array of ethics violations and scandals, is exactly why Canadians are done with the Liberals' repeated ineptitude. Let's look at Gould's own riding in Burlington, Ontario. She's absolutely plummeting in the polls, with her chances of winning projected at an abysmal less than 1%. Gould's partisan rants are exactly what we can expect from a Liberal politician on the fringe and facing unemployment in 2025. Her cushy days are numbered, so she's attacking those that will replace her. It's a sad display of desperation and frustration. For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini. There are endless scandals, failed posturing, and relentless fiscal irresponsibility with the Trudeau Liberals. If you think enough is enough and want to see Trudeau resign, then head on over to TrudeauMustResign.com and put your name on that petition. That's TrudeauMustResign.com.